Okay, fellas, this is the last segment of living in a van and kind of liking it. Sometimes loving it, actually. Freedom, stealth, economy, humility, and challenge. Just like I said in the POU video. Again, we're at our beautiful Oregon location. Ah, so epic. By the way, this is how the conversation usually goes with people we know. And by the way, they have no idea what TMP is. They don't know I have an alternate online presence. They don't know anything about that. But they'll talk to the missus and they'll go, hey, where's your husband? Oh, he's doing sales calls. He's out. Really? What city? And she tells them the cities. Where's he staying? Where's he staying? He's living in his van. What? I didn't know his job paid so poorly. Well, it does okay, but he just likes it. He saves a lot of money doing it, and he loves it. That's how the conversation goes. People are blown away that I do this. And like I said in a previous segment, I was actually kind of embarrassed to tell people online that I live this way, that I live, I don't know, so humbly. But I think a lot of TMPers will get it. You guys get self-reliance. You like economizing. I do too. That money you save on hotels can be funneled to your systems. Buying a new gun, put it into a motorcycle, buying gear, upgrades for that motorcycle. There are ways to economize in your life without really reducing your lifestyle. That's what I think the van really is all about. Saving money, challenge, stuff I said. Now in this segment, I'm going to talk about the modifications I did to this Astro cargo van, essentially to make me happy with it. Harken back to what I said in the philosophy of use video and the stealth conversation we had. I do believe it. I think in rule of law, you're better to have a good looking vehicle that is presentable, that doesn't raise attention, that does not call attention to itself. It doesn't have to be tricked out, it doesn't have to have perfect paint, but something that just blends in, that it looks like it's normal. You put a roof vent on it, you put anything that indicates that people are camping in it, Good Sam stickers, curtains, beat up, just wear and tear, it's gonna raise eyebrows and people are gonna go, what's that guy doing here? Why is he parked on the street? And you may have a knock at your door with a sheriff, a park ranger, police officer, says, hey dude, what are you doing? For me, I wanted a clean van, and I had served a lot of time with a piece of crap van, don't forget that. The Aerostar, and it was beat. It had rust problems, the paint was awful. I'd given up on fixing it, it just wasn't worth it. So I did travel that route. I will say in some of the poorer neighborhoods, that van did blend in there. But I've been in poor neighborhoods with this and no one ever looks like, hey, what's that dude doing there? It blends too. Just, you know, think about it and apply it to your own way of doing business and what you would use your van for. Talking the stealth principle. Now for me, the modifications, and that's what this video is all about, living in a van, liking it, modifications, what did I do? The first thing I did not like about the Astro cargo van is that it rode really high. It was a cargo van after all, especially the back end was extremely high with a lot of, you know, wheel well clearance on the rear tire. Obviously set up for, you know, handling heavy material, commercial material. Maybe it's drywall, metal, plumbing, electrical supplies. I didn't need that because I wasn't planning on, like I said, up armoring, you know, the van, carrying a lot of weight in it. I wanted to drop it. One, for looks. The primary reason is I didn't like how it looked. It looked bush league to me. I dealt with it every time I came up on it. It's like, that looks bad. You guys know I like certain things in my vehicles. Go watch the 350Z videos, the motorcycle videos. I think I have really good vehicle taste. And I kind of answered the critics in another segment in a hilarious way. So go watch all these videos and you'll see what I had to say about that. Hey, I don't like how that looks. All right. Mobile Digest, that joke. I wanted something slammed, clean, street. And also, since this is an Astro van, there's not too many of them on the road anymore. People haven't taken care of them. Either they were commercial vehicles or they were uncared for family vehicles. At any rate, there's very few clean ones on the road. I love the looks of the Astro van. I think it's aerodynamically pleasing. I like its proportions. I like how it's rounded. I've always thought the Astro van is a really good looking van. And now that they're becoming more rare, it's a good opportunity for me to kind of kill two birds with one stone. It is a live-in van, project van, systems van, but now I can make it into something that makes me happy, okay, that I'm pleased with. And that's the result. Number one is I lowered it. So I put lowered front spindles on this Astro van. And then on the back, I have what's called a flip kit, because these are leaf springs in the back. Look it up online. The disadvantage of the flip kit is you're kind of stuck with what you got. I cannot modulate this height with a flip kit. I have researched it heavily. If I had my choice, I would raise this back end up about an inch, because as it sits, it's just slightly aft. I talked about that in another vid. The downside to that is I will bump occasionally on those urethane stops. I don't know if you can see them up in here as I drive and I hit them. You can see some of the flip kit right here. See the bolts right there? So basically you're relocating the springs on the other side of the axle. I'm not doing a good job. There you go. And there's some urethane bumpers in there too. If I find photos, I'll put them in. If not, just believe me. And then along with that, I needed special shocks that are set up for that geometry, and you're looking at them there. That costs money. I mean, the flip kit was not super cheap, neither were the shocks. But like most things in life, if you want to do them right. And so I did them right. So Ryan installed the kit for me, did a great job. I did it after I got it painted. One thing I did not like is that at his shop, one of his workers backed it out and totally destroyed the whole side after the paint job, which was very expensive. That's huge, dude. That's not what? That's right. One of his workers, who subsequently was fired, backed out Commando 2 after the flip kit install. He was also working on the window. Crunched that whole side. Had to get this haul done all over again. And actually the door was so bad I had to find a new door. Welcome to everything, dudes. You know, people just do stupid stuff. Oh, I was pissed. Yeah, speaking of paint, it did come white. The paint job as it came was okay, but it was a commercial vehicle, and then that other guy used it as his own adventure vehicle. So we had dents over here, creases over here. I talked about the hinge that was busted. This was all creased up. That was creased up. The bumper was crooked. There were just dents all over. So I took it to my buddy at Unique Auto Body in Utah, Jeremy, and he painted it for me. I wouldn't say he painted the whole thing. I left the top the same because the paint was good enough, but the whole front end was painted, the side was painted, and yes, it cost thousands of dollars to get it to that point. Good paint is not inexpensive. It costs money, but it was important to me since I spent a lot of time in it. I did not want a mobile. I wanted something nice, and every time I see it now, I smile. I love it. Painted the emblems black. Door handles were sanded and painted. The mirrors were sanded and painted. Just a really clean look. The bumper, I'm talking the front stock bumper cover was pitched. This is actually put together by a company called Serona. It is out of New York City. It is hand-laid fiberglass, and it is excellent. I researched this front end for a long time before I decided what to do. I was thinking to go with the stock one, and it's not bad. It's just, you know, standard bumper cover, rounded, but I wanted something a little more special. And since I dropped it, heck, like 3.5 inches overall, I can get better aerodynamics if I extend that bumper cover down further. And I have noticed since I've dropped it, since I've put on this Serona front end on the Astro van, Commando 2, my MPG has gone up. It is a little bit better. It is definitely a lot more stable. Like where I drove in today, I mean, you're talking twisties for 75 miles, depending on which route I go to get into this location. So having a lowered van, it's not just something cool, you know, street, it's practical. You guys know I'm all about practical. So the bumper cover's awesome. One thing I didn't like about it is it was flimsy when they attached it. And so you can see the attachment. And so what I did, another Nutnfancy modification, is I took this steel strap, fabricated it, drilled and tapped the frame. And so now I have a steel strap that holds it right here. Cool. I did not clear bra this one because there's no kits for this Sirona bumper. See, I have a little flake right here. So over time, I'm just gonna have to sand and repaint it once again. It's got some mesh cover back here. I had sanded and painted the front grille on Commando 2. It's just a very clean look. I got these off eBay because the ones that it came with were all oxidized and ruined. So I got those, and those were pretty inexpensive. The clear turn signals. And then of course I have, oh my oh so beloved Baja Designs light, Squadron Pro light that I installed, and it overcomes the weak lamps that are on the Astro van. You know, they suck. They're not high intensity at all. Not at all. Dang, I still got my strap under there. That's for the van cover. Didn't even know it was on there. I've driven like 200 miles with that thing dragging. Now, the Squadron Pro is not bust like you saw in my how to make your truck lights suck less video. Because on that video, I show that I actually wire a completely different Blue Sea Systems electrical distribution bus. All I'm doing with this one is I wire it through, come over here on the top, feed it over, and I use the relay that came with the harness of the Squadron Pro. And let me show you the switch that activates that. And in a place like this, it's super necessary because I have a lot of deer popping out in front of me. And I have that Squadron Pro angled out to the right a little bit so I can see wildlife, mostly. I use it mostly in remote locations like I'm at now. So, and this is hot wired, so it's not, like I said, bust. So now it's on. This electrical label right there tells me that up is on. Adventure team go, G.I. Joe. And you'll see it should be on. There you go. Oh, excellent. Love that. So that's the Squadron Pro. Other modifications include a super cool headliner that Mrs. Nutnfancy and myself did from scratch. The other one was thrashed. So I got some 1/4-inch hardboard, covered it in some gray flannel, put different screws in. Here's a couple photos. It was a big project. Everything is a big project in this van, pretty much. Talked about the inverter already. I got window tint and alarm like you saw. And like I said earlier, this door is no longer opening. I have to fix that. My hood apparently is not opening. I have to fix that. Welcome to old vehicles. They constantly require maintenance. This is kind of cool. I haven't talked about this yet. And speaking of things that broke and fall off, I was driving here and my rear view mirror fell off. Oh! The reason it did is because I have what's called a zero edge backup camera, and it was attached to my mirror, so it was heavier, and so over time the vibration just knocked it free. What this is an integrated backup and front camera that records on an SD card, and I love it actually. So it can be a security system. I kind of kidded you that I didn't have a system all the time on. In a way I do. When this is plugged in and working, here's the front lens. So it'll record any movement or activity in front of the vehicle. When it's up here, I will eventually repair it or somehow fix it so it's hanging about like there. Actually, I have it upside down, it goes like that. And then here's the USB power supply and the feed for the rear video camera, which is right here. I did try to mount it high, but I couldn't flip the video image, so it has to go down here. There's my rear mounted camera. How cool is that? And practically speaking, when I have the shields in like I do right now, I have the heat shield in here. It helps because I can see what's going on behind me. So it's not just about security, but it's just practicality. And then the power supply plugs in there. I showed you the charging ports already, talking about modifications, right? And then I have different rims. I got those off Amazon. They're called ice rims. They do have a little bit of wear and tear on them, but I sure like them and they fit really nice. I have high mileage tires on them. These are called the Assurance. They are by Goodyear. When they're lowered, they look just fine. So these are not low profile tires because I want this thing to ride nice. Right? And then I talked about the racks and organization of the van. Whew, man, a lot to say. So in the end, I have nothing but stance. I laugh because this van has a certain look to it, obviously, right? has a certain street look to it. And I'm sure people think that the person that's going to get out of this van is probably some 20-year-old, tattooed, backwards hat, because it's kind of a custom van, I guess. But when they see me get out, they're like, what? That doesn't make sense. How is that possible? Oh, I have a stainless steel muffler tip too. I got that from Pep Boys. And my battery's about to die. I got 1 minute left. That's how you get it done, boys. Living in a van and liking it in the Nutnfancy project. I have, like I said, like 194,000 miles on this. Before this battery runs out, I hope I can show you. If it does, I'm just gonna cut the video off. I will say this, for GMC products, they can rack up a lot of miles. So the engine is pretty excellent. There you go, 194,000 miles on this. The suspension's good, the transmission's good. It's just the little things that are not so great on this American produced product. Overall, I just love it. It's given me a lot of joy. Do I recommend you get one? It depends. You know, where do you go adventuring? Do you like hitting the road? Do you have people to go visit? Do you want to save on hotel bills? Is the initial outlay worth it? Got to take a time out to say hello to our red-winged blackbird friends, which decided to come and serenade us. They got a beautiful song, red-winged blackbirds. I love them. They're only around where water is, so they probably have their nests over here towards the lake. Cool, great location. After I'm done, I'm gonna go hiking that way, goofing around, get some exercise on a long walk. I wish Allie was with me, but I didn't bring her on this trip. She's getting up in years too. Yeah, she is. She's like, I don't know, people years 90 now. Yeah, she's up there. Like I was saying, the Astro van, and for that matter, the GMC Safari van, they get the big things right. Engine, transmission, pretty durable. They do have some quirks, especially when they get older like this. Like I said, I can't even open my damn hood right now. This door's not opening. Welcome to older vehicles. You're gonna spend a lot less, but you're gonna spend a little bit more maintenance, definitely a lot more in time to keep them running. Man, I love my van though. I ain't gonna lie, I just love it. Just ask Mrs. Nutnfancy. She will be a testifier of how much I love my van and that I actually do live in it. Some people are gonna watch this series of videos and go, oh, there's no way. There's no way you live in a van part-time, Nutnfancy. Well, sir, you would be wrong, because I do and have done it for well over 10 years. So there you go. There you go. Gotta wrap it up. Forgot to mention this, by the way. These are vent shade shields for your window. They look super cool. They are functional, so you can crack your window in the rain, get more ventilation. You get it. We talked about a lot of stuff. If you like this series of videos, first and foremost, subscribe to this channel, the A channel, also the B channel, of which I'm putting a lot more content on it. That encourages me to put the work in to share these things with you, my audience, my double owls, my triple owls. That's what that is. Double owl means you're subscribed to both the A and B channel, and you should be subscribed to my Twitter feed, because it's an easy way for me to keep in touch with you guys, tell you what's going on. I might put a teaser on this van series on the B channel before I release all of them on the A channel, I think. But that's it. We talked about a lot of stuff. I think the most fascinating part was the philosophy of use discussion of why you would even think about living in a van. Remember what I said? Freedom, economy, you know, the challenge. It's just living humbly. I like all of those things. That's why I do it. Primarily for the economy, though. I've saved thousands and thousands of dollars on hotel bills living in a freaking van. Talked about van organization, van sleeping, van hygiene, van tools, security, stuff like that, entertainment options, privacy, and the modifications I did to the vehicle in this video. Should you go get one just like this and do it? It does represent a certain cost, you know that. Buying the van, modifying it especially, will be expensive to get it to this point. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, that Sorona front end, I think just for the front end alone was like 850 bucks. It's because there's not that many vans. I mean, I had to wait for like 6 weeks while they had it made too. They hand laid it from fiberglass. I waited and waited, finally came. Actually, side skirts came too, but they didn't fit, and I had to throw those in the garbage. You know, hundreds of dollars lost on that. I don't know, it just depends what you do. If you travel a lot, you like a mission support vehicle, I would definitely consider it. You could configure it as a bug out vehicle. One thing I didn't talk about in the philosophy of use video is that as a rule of law vehicle like this, I use it all the time. You know, are you really going to use something that's jacked up and gets 12 miles a gallon? Driving it, you know, across the country, 2,000 mile trip, that's a lot of gas money. Is it configured inside to where you enjoy it, it gives you pleasure as its owner? Think about it. This is configured the way I like it. As you saw, it works. Signing off from the great outdoors and Van USA, a beautiful campground, over and out.